What if I told you that one single metal, dug from a mountain in the Andes, connected empires, fueled economies, and ultimately priced the entire world? This isn't just a story about money. It's the story of silver, and how it forged the first truly global network of trade. Our story begins high in the Andes, in a place that became a legend, Potosi. In the 16th century, the Spanish discovered a literal mountain of silver here. This Cerro Rico, or Rich Hill, quickly became the largest industrial complex in the world. Thousands of indigenous laborious and enslaved Africans were forced to work in treacherous conditions, deep within the earth, to extract the precious metal that would change history. The scale of the operation was staggering. At its peak, Potosi was one of the largest and wealthiest cities on the planet, a bustling, violent metropolis built on a foundation of pure silver. But how did this silver from a remote Andean mountain reach the other side of the world? The answer lay in a fleet of legendary ships, the Manila galleons. These massive vessels embarked on one of the most dangerous sea voyages ever attempted. Loaded with silver from the Americas, they would set sail from Acapulco, on the coast of modern-day Mexico, for a grueling, months-long journey across the vast and unpredictable Pacific Ocean. They faced typhoons, starvation, and disease. Their destination? The port of Manila in the Philippines, the gateway to the largest market in the world, China. Why was China so desperate for silver? It all came down to a revolutionary economic policy. In the late Ming Dynasty, the government implemented the single whip reform. This massive tax overhaul simplified a complex system of payments in goods and labor into a single payment, required to be made in silver. Suddenly, a nation of hundreds of millions of people needed silver to pay their taxes. This created an insatiable demand, a silver sink that drew the metal from every corner of the globe. Chinese merchants would trade their most coveted goods, luxurious silks, exquisite porcelain, and fragrant spices, for the silver bars and coins pouring in from the Americas. This created an extraordinary global loop. Silver, mined in Potosi, was shipped to Acapulco, sailed across the Pacific to Manila, and then traded into China. The Chinese goods received in return would then be shipped back across the Pacific to the Americas or continue onward to Europe. For the first time, you could find Mexican silver in a Chinese market, Chinese silk in a Spanish court, and South American potatoes on a European dinner table. This was not just trade. It was the birth of a connected world economy, all lubricated by the steady flow of Potosi silver. This incredible wealth sailing across the oceans was a magnet for danger. The Manila galleons were prime targets for pirates and privateers from rival European powers, like the English and the Dutch, who prowled the shipping lanes hoping to capture a prize worth a king's ransom. Beyond human threats, the sea itself was the greatest enemy. Vicious storms and uncharted waters could swallow a galleon whole. In response, shipbuilders developed innovative designs. These galleons were floating fortresses, heavily armed and built with deep hulls to withstand the punishing Pacific swells and carry immense quantities of cargo. They were engineering marvels of their time, designed for the dual purpose of commerce and war. While Asia was absorbing silver, Europe was feeling a very different effect. The sheer volume of silver flooding into Spain and then spreading across the continent triggered a phenomenon known as the price revolution. With so much more money in circulation, the value of that money dropped. Prices for everyday goods, bread, wine, cloth, skyrocketed. This massive inflation destabilized societies, impoverished wage earners whose pay couldn't keep up, and enriched merchants and landowners. It was an era of profound economic upheaval and social change, reshaping the very fabric of European life. Entire fortunes were made and lost, all tied to the silver pouring in from the New World. But no boom lasts forever. By the 18th century, the silver trade began to decline. The mines in Potosi were becoming depleted, making extraction more difficult and expensive. The Ming Dynasty in China collapsed, and the new Qing Dynasty altered its economic policies. New trade routes and the rise of other colonial powers shifted the global balance. The era of the Manila galleons slowly came to an end. Yet, its legacy is undeniable. The silver trade did more than just move wealth. It moved people, ideas, cultures, and even diseases across oceans. It laid the foundation for the interconnected global economy we live in today. It was a brutal, revolutionary, and transformative period that proved a single commodity, mined from one mountain, could bind the entire world together in a web of commerce and conflict. The world was never the same again. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that shaped our world.